It's time to feel what you've been bottling up. Life in rural America isn't easy. The long hours, the constant pressures, the demands of the land, livestock, and family, it all takes a toll. We're tough and we've got grit, but somewhere along the way, toughness started meaning bottling up emotions and powering through. But here's the truth. That strategy, it's not working and it's poisoning us. Maybe you've noticed and maybe you haven't, but the numbers don't lie. We're breaking down and it's showing up in our bodies, our relationships, and in the rising suicide rates in agriculture. You don't have to carry any of it alone. There's another way. If you're ready to stop being weighed down and start moving forward, my one-on-one good movement guidance is now open. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more and see if one-on-one guidance could be for you.
I'll carry you, you carry me, we'll help each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. As you may know, over the course of the past year and a half or so, I've been asked if I've ever considered becoming a therapist. You may also know that, yes, I have considered it, but going back to school right now is not in the cards. Plus, if I'm being totally honest, I don't really want to have to adhere to all the rules counselors and therapists must adhere to. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to keep learning and gathering information that can help me help others. I'm still learning and consuming all that I can get my hands on. As of late, I've been consuming a lot of what Dr. Gabor Mate has written. And by a lot, I mean I've read or listened to 4 out of 5 of his books. And the 5th one is in my Spotify queue, downloaded and ready to go. I was first introduced to Gabor by my friend Kelly, who is an insanely sweet and wildly smart human who studies psychoneuroimmunology. That is a mouthful. Kelly and I have not set a date for recording yet, but she has agreed to be a guest here on the Cast Pod, and I'm really excited for you guys to meet her, because she's just a wealth of knowledge. But anyway, she recommended that I read Mate's book, When the Body Says No, which is a fantastic book about the mind-body connection and how suppressed and repressed emotions can lead to physical ailments and illness, i.e., what she studies, psychoneuroimmunology. I read When the Body Says No and was immediately hooked on Mate's work. So I read The Myth of Normal, which I now know is sort of an anthology or a really long Cliff's Notes of all of his other works. But I continued. I then consumed Scattered Minds, which is about ADD and ADHD. And that book absolutely blew my mind. After Scattered Minds, I started listening to In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, Close Encounters with Addiction. And again, mind blown. He's written extensively on chronic illness, addiction, and ADD. But if I had to sum up all of his works into just one sentence, it would be Humans most need healthy, secure attachment and attunement, and humans are most lacking healthy, secure attachment and attunement. So, what are attachment and attunement, and why are they so important? Great question. I'm glad you asked. Attachment is the emotional bond that forms between us as infants and our parents or caregivers. It's how we, as little tiny baby humans, get our primary needs met, and it becomes the foundation of our subsequent social, emotional, and cognitive development. Our first attachments provide our first coping systems and influence future relationship formation. To sum that up, basically, attachment is the foundation upon which everything else in our brain is built. If you look up the definition of attunement, Merriam-Webster will tell you that one definition is to make aware or responsive. And that's what attunement is in our human relationships. Attunement is our awareness and responsiveness to the needs of others. It might be seeing a baby cry, knowing they're hungry or need a change, and then acting on whatever it is they need, or hearing someone say, I'm fine, knowing they're not, and then letting them know you are there for them. It's awareness and responsiveness. It's knowing and acting. When we come into the world as teeny tiny little baby humans, we cannot take care of ourselves. We need attachment and attunement from our parents and or caregivers. We need the emotional bond, and we need to be taken care of to literally survive. We need that emotional bond, and we need to be taken care of to survive. And whether we want to accept it or not, it's no different when we grow up. We need attachment and attunement to literally survive, even as adults. And after consuming Gabor's work and learning how illness, disease, addiction, and ADD are affected by attachment and attunement, or the lack thereof, from where I stand as a society, we're severely lacking both. The good news is we're not screwed. We can make positive change, but the first step is awareness, right? Right. Because like Suzanne Stabile says, you can't change what you can't name. For example, now that I have read all of his works and fully understand just how important attachment and attunement are, now that I know better, I am committed to doing better in my own personal relationships, especially in those relationships with mine and Tom's children. I was actually talking to Tom on our way to a branding last week about all that I had learned. And I was just making a statement about how if I had had this information when we were brand new, teeny tiny baby parents, I would have done so much differently. So much differently. And this is not to say that I am blaming myself. I am not blaming myself. Am I salty that I didn't know these things before now? Yes, I am a little salty. But I, at the time, was doing the best that I could with what I had. But now I have more, and I'm going to do my best with it, and I'm going to keep learning. But I am really convinced that attachment and attunement are not just so important, but the key to unlocking so many things. So many things. And there is a whole lot more to talk about on the topics of attachment and attunement. And don't worry, we will talk more about them. But for now, I just wanted to bring some awareness to these topics. And because I like to keep these episodes short, we're just going to break it up into little bite-sized chunks as we talk more about these things. So with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.